Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Cycles Podcast with me, your girl, Adhiambo, Kisumu City. You're hanging out with me, Maeve Cheryl, and the lovely Aisha Ochoda.
What's good?
And before we get into this episode, Cycles Podcast has turned one. Can you believe I've kept something going,
Happy
something alive for
birthday!
1 year?
I'm actually so proud of you, and I'm
So
going to heavily
sorry.
derail you a bit later, but you really did that. You really did that. And I
We've
hope you know
done
you
it.
have.
I'm so
Consistency
happy.
is key, and you've done that for 365 days.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
really have done amazing.
Now, on to sad news, Aisha. We started the week, and one of my favorite shows actually came to an end.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm sure you already know what I'm talking about.
Do I? I'm not so sure. Let's
Over
discuss.
25. So they
Oh.
closed the curtain.
Oh.
And
I was on a totally different space.
what were you thinking?
Yesterday, I watched the finale of Adulting. So I thought you were talking about Adulting.
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about Over 25. They
Mhm.
were among the first pioneers of all this manana YouTube, speaking to young girls, speaking to, the youth of their time and all
Yeah,
those
and they were
things.
actually a candid space, a candid safe space, but we don't have many candid safe
sure.
spaces. Yeah.
We don't have. Okay, we have. People are trying. I guess
Yeah.
we didn't have them back then, and that's why
Yeah, because they're
such a
so raw
force.
and unfiltered, and I love that about them. Not everyone is ready to be that raw and unfiltered on the internet.
And then now I was watching the videos. Every time I feel like I'm about to break up with somebody, I watch the videos for strength.
Really? You have a
Because I
whole
tell
breakup
you-
routine?
Not a breakup routine, but sometimes when you know, you know. When it's happening, it's happening. So sometimes you go to the big girls to hear what they have to say, and they're like, you know what? When you feel it, that means it's happening, and then ways to navigate it. And then
So
I'm just
you
like,
have a routine?
I don't have a routine.
No, oh, so
I can't
really?
call it. I can't. I wouldn't
Do you
call
prep
it a
yourself? Like, is
routine.
that a conversation you give yourself? And
For sure. Because see now when you know something, now you have to start preparing yourself for it.
how do you lay it down to them?
Even if I won't do it, God will. So you know that prayer for God.
Mhm.
Remove this person.
Oh, my
that prayer
days.
does wonders.
Ah.
Does wonders. So when I start feeling iffy, I make the prayer, the application goes, the application is hard,
Guys,
judgment delivered.
we really need to unpack Maeve's breakup kind of routine. I feel like,
No.
do people have? Okay, wow. Now that I think about it, I think I do.
You have a breakup routine.
I think so.
Which is now
Just getting myself in the mood because I'm a really big people pleaser.
Mhm.
I can't believe I'm talking about this. I'm a really big people pleaser,
Mhm.
so it's really hard for me to bear that kind of news to someone. I found myself in situations where I haven't
Mhm.
like had the
Like a ghost.
conversation, and I've just been, when you're drawing yourself back and everything, and I don't think as an adult it's not fair to the other party.
Mhm.
But these days, yeah, I would actively say I'm so ready to have a conversation and everything. I make sure it's face to face
Mhm.
because what the fuck is a text?
Really?
Wait, are you for breaking up via text?
It's fine. Whatever is what I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
We're not talking about a situationship like a friends with benefits or a talking stage. We're talking about a relationship.
Yeah, it's fine.
Via text.
Yeah.
I'm-
I've had someone do that to me. So I was just like, if this is how it's gonna be, this is how it's gonna be. So
Are you just glad they saved you like the Uber money and the prep time and
not
everything?
really. I really felt the disrespect. Like we've known each other for 2 years, and then the most you can do for me is break up with me through a
Via
text. But now I'm just like, you know what? I feel like it's okay because
Do
again,
you think so?
communicating such things is usually hard. Now imagine
I
watching
know,
somebody.
but I think the best way is going to someone's safe space. So, say for example, if me and you are dating, I would go to your place. So by the time I leave, you don't have to do the whole weird thing of
Yeah,
commuting when you're in tears. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe.
utaenda kwa house alafu mtani akula.
Because come on, if I'm the one leaving you, I've
Mhm.
actively thought about this and prepared for this for a while. So getting back to my place is not an issue. You're the one who's going to be most probably like in a bad space. So your story a restaurant, but I think restaurant
Restaurants
dates,
hata mwezi
breakups.
ongea vizuri alafu mtu akianza kushout hapo. No way. But I have another question now.
Mhm.
Considering it was an all-female group,
Mhm.
do you think the breakup is a testament to the fact that women cannot sustain long-term friendships? Ama it's just a situation of bad timing, everyone's paths being different, and all those
Mhm.
things.
Okay, I haven't watched the video, so I don't have context. But I
Okay.
don't think it's a women's thing, to be honest. I
Mhm.
think it's just a people's thing. I was having this conversation with my mentor the other day, and we were just talking about how sometimes friendships or even different groups that we create for ourselves in life,
Mhm.
they need to be nurturing and nourishing for a human being. If you've kind of grown out of that and you're in a totally different space is something I'd absolutely respect and understand. Staying there just for the sake of
All times.
is stupidity.
Okay.
Go find a new space in where you can actively grow. It's not like they're losing touch with each other, are they?
Yeah.
They're just in two, like not two, four
True.
totally different spaces, and it's something I can actively respect.
Yeah.
We see that in boy groups as well. We see that on talk shows as well. People just part ways because it's time to start a new chapter. So I don't think it's a women's thing, but then again, I have no context.
True. I also wouldn't exactly say it's a women thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because they said it in the video. I watched the video, so they said they're all different timelines. People are getting married, people are getting children, so everyone is operating at a different pace right now.
Yeah.
So the best thing for them to do would be to separate and then maybe regroup after, because she promised, or she said rather, that it was just a pause and not a stop to the
She
whole
being who?
thing. Jules, the
Jules,
founder.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I also like it's really important to highlight the fact that whatever brought them together wasn't this particular show, and it wasn't like a job, it was a friendship.
They were friends first.
Yeah,
for sure.
so when you guys are in totally different spaces, you don't want to sacrifice the friendship just to get a paycheck or this or
Yeah.
that. So I totally understand. It's not like they're not going to be friends anymore.
Correct.
So I get that. I think keeping the foundation where it's supposed to be is most important, because that's something that actively builds to them on a personal level.
For sure.
So yeah, if life, man.
Life is pathetic.
Life. Oh
Life
my
is pathetic.
days.
So now we move to a precursor to what we're actually going to discuss today.
Mhm.
When someone is talking to you and someone is venting, would you rather they give you a relatable story to would you rather someone who you're seeking advice from gives you a relatable story, or just for them to shut up and listen to you and then maybe give you advice?
I've actively been thinking about this because I'm such a venter. But mine is cut into different categories. When it comes to my friends, I know, okay, conversation and being candid and being raw is one of the biggest, aspects of my friendships.
Yeah.
So by the time I'm coming to vent and everything, I know you've actively heard me and understood the weight of what my situation is. If you give me a relatable story, I'd like the fact that I know you are my friend and you might have gone through something similar, so I don't feel that alone. But for some reason, the difference comes in when I'm dating a nigga and I'm just trying to vent and I'm really just trying to be the damsel in distress. Alafu kwa hapo unanipatia stories za even me, I don't want that, sir.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
In that situation, I want you to listen to me, acknowledge my feelings.
But if ever you were to talk to me and you didn't want a relatable story, please just tell me before you start venting. Just tell me, I just want you to listen to me.
Yeah.
Don't tell me anything, and then now you can go.
Oh, that's really rare for me. I'm one of those people that likes to know.
It just
It
comes.
does.
Because now you listen to someone and then it'll be like, oh my God, I went through this exact same thing. And then kidogo, you veered.
And they feel like their situation has been highly minimized.
True.
Like at that point in time, it's not like a 50-50 kind of relationship.
Yeah.
It's like 99-1. Show up for me like that. I get that. I really do. Because sometimes when you do give a relatable story, the tangent of the conversation completely changes. And
you even lose track of what the actual problem was.
You can really feel forgotten and not important. So I do understand that aspect.
But me, I prefer you tell me that relatable story. And then I'll be
really?
oh my God,
yeah?
You too? So even just back to the Over 25 video I was watching, and Jules was saying how for her employment was a disillusion.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, sorry. Employment for her was like disillusionment, and she really needed a space where she could be creative and all those things. And I'm just like, this is what I was crying about last week.
Yeah.
So to see that she went through it and she's where she's at now gives me a bit of hope. And
I'm one of those people. I don't want to think I'm going through a particular problem alone. Yeah. If knowing that other people might have gone through it and they made it through makes me know that I can do it. I can do it too. But I found myself actively asking friends, you're going through something right now, I totally understand. Do you want me to give you practical solutions to whatever you're going through? Or would you like me to just actively listen to you? And I actively ask that question.
It's easier to...
Yeah, it really is.
So now we move to the dilemmas we asked for.
Ooh.
So I'm assuming the people who sent the dilemmas want us to give relatable stories.
It's so interesting because by the time before I even asked the question on my stories, I had some of mine, and then I got a couple as well. I just compiled them actually on my way here, and they're very interesting.
They're heavy.
Oh, Would heavy be? I don't know. Is anything ever heavy
Are
to
they
me?
funny? Are they cute?
Oh my day. Okay, let's
Cute
see.
dilemmas.
Let's see.
So
That's a lot of pressure because I might read something that I would have thought is funny, and you
okay.
will not even chuckle.
So
That yeah, but what are yours?
mine are they're not so many.
No, yours
Oh, my
particularly.
dilemma.
Yeah.
Do I have a dilemma right now?
Mm-hmm. Think
My
about it. Let
dilemma
us know.
is it'll be a bit redundant. We've spoken about this thing in the previous episode.
Oh, which is
I don't want to bring it up. It's
okay.
it's
It's a safe space. It's all right. It's all right.
no. Umefungua?
Yeah.
Acha,
Me.
nice.
Mine. One of mine was inheriting people's enemies. How do you feel about that? Inheriting people's enemies and solidarity growing up. I mean, for me, it not made a lot of sense, but it was
Yeah.
something that happened a lot in like high school and primary school, and people like, say for example, me and you are like friends. Me niko sana na person X.
So pia mina person
Yeah,
X.
but what? How do you feel about that in adulthood?
I don't know. For me now, it's been like that. The only enemies I inherit are my mother's enemies. Because there's no way you hate my mom and you claim to love me.
She's off limits. I was watching a Steve
if
Harvey
you
video
don't
that
like
said
my
she's
mom,
off limits.
That one is
Yeah.
beef automatically.
Oh
But
my
now
gosh, same.
for us as young people, I don't know. I feel like that's tricky because it's tricky because even I feel like it's a bad thing to your friend. Because now what are you discussing with this enemy? What if you're the friend to your friend's enemy? What will you be discussing first of all?
I don't feel like even to have a conversation or to discuss anything with anyone, you even have to be acquaintances, let alone friends. In this world, it's sad to say, but small talk is just a thing, just to keep a social setting moving. Some people don't want to be fake like that. They'll even term it as being fake. I just term it as being mature. I walk into the room, I say hello to everyone. I don't have to be as pleasant with everyone. But the older I get, the more I realize it's not me. If me and you are really good friends, you fall out with someone, I try to be as pragmatic about it and I just look at the situation.
Yeah.
If I look at it objectively, if said person was wrong, I just know how to move around said person again. If it was maybe they spoke about something about you, now they betrayed your trust and told everyone else something you told them in confidence, I'll know for a fact this person actively doesn't value, privacy, confidentiality, and trust to that extent, and I'll just distance myself. But it's not like I walk into a room and never say hello to the said person. Okay. Yeah, I will understand the fact that they gravely hurt you and it was out of line and the like. If I know said person and had a personal relationship with said person, I'll call them out. But iyo ya actively cancel. Oh my god. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I will never bring drama into my life when it comes to other people. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to Switzerland the hell out of my life. So if it doesn't actively involve me like that, I'm Switzerland.
Kabisa.
Yeah, so that was one of my biggest dilemmas because in primary and high school, I was really one of those solidarity babes.
And then at Utapata, you'll inherit the beef, and then a few days they'll squash it. And now you're just like
Kwanzaa with people in relationships. That one for I digress. But really. I was because to date, I might not even speak to a certain person from high school or primary just because of some random beef that happened between them and Sujui, God knows who. And I'm just like, this is not grown
what
at all.
Like,
it's
gosh. Do I read one from
yes,
people?
Go ahead.
So the first dilemma this person has. This one is okay. It's not funny. I'm not laughing at people's problems.
Gosh, no, I shouldn't laugh.
She said, "Should I sell my body or build my career?"
That's okay.
This one is tough. I think we've all been at this stage at some point. Where you're
Kwanzaa in Campo, when I said when it's like 3 a.m, your exam is like at 8 and you've only read like chapter 1, 2, 3 and you have like 17 others. You're just like,
so you decide.
I see the sugar babies really doing it. They're having a good time.
This one I thought about it especially with the age of Instagram, because now on Instagram people actually publicize that they actually do that for a living and all those things. So when you see the benefits of that, as opposed to now you waking up to your 9 to 5, it's like, oh my God, maybe I should, redirect my focus and maybe do that. But honestly, there's no longevity in this in sell your body, because tomorrow another hotter body will come and the bid will be higher and all those things. So you'll sell for a while and then alafu hiyo pesa hata ya kusell most of the time you don't usually use it for anything useful. So you just end up at square one. You'll end up in square one. So I'd rather you build your career, because at least that gives you footing, that gives you a backup plan. in the event anything goes wrong, and then also money you've sweat money you've sweat for.
Utaheshimu.
Utaheshimu hiyo pesa.
Utaheshimu.
Hata ukitumia inakuuma.
Or you won't use
So-
it anyhow. You're the kind of people that said, I actively ask for mashed potatoes, not fries.
So build your career.
I
on
actually,
this
I
one.
really agree with you. And one of the reasons is because when you get into a relationship where the foundation of the relationship is that he has the upper hand. He really does have the upper hand. And it might, I'm not saying this happens in all situations, but it might lead to quite an abusive scenario.
True.
Whether it's physical, verbal, or again, we find a lot of people that are locked up in situations because of the money.
True.
Yeah. So, jijenge babes.
Jijenge.
Important.
Haya yako.
Yeah. Oh, let me look for one real quick. The pressure to succeed in school as if it's life or death. That's interesting because this comes from someone I actively know. This comes from my disc in uni. I'm not gonna out who it was because I sat next to a lot of people in uni. But when it comes to this particular person, I know where he's coming from. He's coming from the space you and I both come from, and it's the picture of the picture perfect kind of child that your parents had and the kind of future they had for you, and now what you might want for yourself. I feel like we talk about this on every pod.
It's
But my God,
important.
it's so heavy.
It's like a lingering.
And it feels
affecting
nice to know that we're not the
everybody
only ones.
For sure.
It's so many people. Oh my days.
So the dilemma is
Whether or not he should actively get burnt out to achieve said thing, or just take things a day at a time and not necessarily have the most accolades at the youngest age.
I don't know. That's a tough one because one, if you're that type of person, if you're the person who's inherently you seek excellence and all those things, it's going to bug you if you don't achieve it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, but I would say maybe not take it as a life and death matter, because now that takes away the joy in even studying. Funny enough, I feel like there is joy in education to some extent. If
I've
you look
had
for
some
it,
of my
you'll find
best
it.
times in school. I'm not even gonna lie
Exactly.
to you. I'm so
If you
excited
look
to do
for
my
it-
master's, my PhD. Just
If you look for it, you'll find it. So
Yeah.
also to ease the pressure off of yourself, you just do the what's required of you. The course outline, just make sure it's sorted and all those things. So that doesn't lead to burnout, because I think also burnout comes when you're not prepared, when you're not planned, and all those things. No, everything is just
Maeve, how did you find that
haphazard.
motivation when you don't actively like said thing? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, for me, I used to do everything last minute. So how did you find that motivation to do that throughout the semester?
I don't know. For me, I think it was a switch in third year. It was a switch in third year because I was in first year, second year, I was that last minute girl, and it was not good. It didn't do me any justice. So in third year, I was just like, you know what, maybe Cheryl, tutabidi tumejikakamua hapa. So from the word go, I'd start writing notes. Day one of class, all those things. So by the time it's exam time, I have beaten parts in my head. So any word, a small word just triggers, and then the notes ndo zinakujiwa, watu wanatumia nini nini. So niko jipsych too.
I was the people that used to go
Kujipsych
for her
too.
notes because, you know, okay,
Mhm.
okay. I feel like we need to have a session. You teach me that because I'm still.
But do you need that? Si umemaliza shule sahi.
No, I haven't. I have a couple of more papers left.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know I've been in school
You
for the
need it.
longest time, guys.
Lazima hii November unamaliza.
I
So for
actually
him,
am. Yeah, I'm so tired of still being a
having
student.
that at
But
the
you know
back
the
of your
thing is,
head.
by the time I'm even done with KSL,
Mhm.
hopefully I'll have started my masters.
Allah.
I'm gonna be a professional student.
Aisha, you want to be a student again?
I want to get my
I need
PhD.
a break.
In as much as I just feel like I was such a last minute person because I was doing something I don't actively enjoy or I thought was really daunting. But when I actively I've always liked the pursuit of knowledge. Always.
Fantastic. So
Yeah.
what we said to this boy is not to take it as a matter of life and death. Just find enjoyable ways to
Sidhani
navigate
atatusikiza,
school.
but yeah.
Higher. Go with the next one.
The next one is also a career question, but let me look for one that's
Yeah,
not.
there's a lot of
Oh,
career
okay.
ones.
This comes from to date or to be single. The question was particularly to guys in that early adulthood. So in those early years of maybe around 18 to 25.
Oh, is
The
it
dilemma was to
Wanganga?
date or to be single.
Under 25, you have no business being in a relationship with anybody.
Especially, I feel like people say that give that kind of narrative to men because they haven't established or they don't have anything yet. But yeah, because this is coming from a guy.
But there's no context to that, so we wouldn't really know why they are facing that dilemma.
Yeah.
So to date or to be single, I mean, it depends. If there's someone you're vibing with, if there's somebody and they're wondering whether to go ahead and be with somebody, If they check your boxes, then why not? Just try. If uko peke yako na talking stage zinaisha na 1 week,
Stop.
baki
We
single.
stop passing through the corners. Stop passing through.
Baki
Come to
single.
me direct.
You-
Come to me direct.
So I told you we're the same person. The ones I have here again, there's one on career choice. This one is heavy. Career path and choice. Yet I'm in my late 20s. How to escape from the claws of poverty. This one is so bad. I feel like everyone is trying to, in some way, as if you're not, if your last name is not, kama wewe si mtoto wa, iko inaitwaje? Dynasty.
Hey, trust fund babies.
All of us are trying to escape the claws of poverty. So you are career path and choice. I really don't know. In the late 20s, I don't know.
I think for me personally, it really now just depends on what's important for you, what's a priority for you. I might really, really value security, and that's one of my top like values by virtue of the fact that maybe I don't actively grow up with it in my childhood. So despite the fact that I'm not good necessarily with numbers, but I don't enjoy numbers. And I see maybe like accounting is profitable, I might still get myself in that space just to actively be stable. So I think it's like a give or take. What are your values? Because I know so many people that are in fields that they actively don't enjoy, but they forget all their woes as soon as they get their paycheck at the end of the month. So I don't know. I don't want to be the person to tell you to do something you don't like, but we're in a capitalistic society that's such it's a
Places
bloodbath
value
out
on-
here,
yeah,
honestly.
true.
And these are things that people don't actively tell you in school. So if that's something that's really important for you, you might want to go with something that would earn you,
True. And there's another. I was
good
having
amount.
a conversation with somebody, and I have this exact same dilemma.
Yeah.
And the thing they said was, sometimes your choice might not give you the security you're looking for.
Oh, yeah.
So you might end up struggling a bit.
Mm.
Or on the other hand, you went to school, you're equipped, you can venture into that career and all those things. So maybe use the career to get you to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Because now a career means equates to a job for the sake of this conversation. So you have security in the sense that every month there's something that will be coming in,
Yeah.
which you can use to fund that which you're comfortable in. and
Exactly.
stuff like
Human
that.
beings are so multifaceted. And as soon as you get to a stable situation, you can definitely pour into now your passion project and the like
Exactly.
that can actually, fulfill you.
Fair enough. This one said, this one is now striving to become financially independent while trying to work on your mental well-being. They say depression is not depression, but like when you're sad, sadness is tied to money. So when you're sad, one M-Pesa is like your day, your sickness is cured.
Oh my gosh, if my M-Pesa looks good for real, I'm never in a bad mood.
Do you know it's true?
Like, why are you
It's
upset?
so true.
What?
When you
Why?
know inaisha iko depleted, unaamka asubuhi uko na stress, unashangaa pressure imetoka wapi.
Don't even talk to me.
But the moment you see that thing,
you look at me funny, I'm
even
like,
walk in
excuse
the
me?
streets like,
You're that bitch. Yeah. Oh my days. Yes, it's very tight. Like, it's really tight to money.
so obviously if you don't have money, then your mental well-being is going to be bad, because I feel like that affects even how, especially if you live at home, it affects how your parents will relate with you, because sometimes they need to be bailed out sometimes and you don't have anything to give. Also affects your options in the dating scene now. So hakuna vile mental health yako itakuwa settled. So
money really runs the world at this point in time.
Whoever said money doesn't buy happiness is a liar.
Well.
Haya, give us another one. So this one, how do we help them striving to become financially independent whilst balancing their mental health?
When it comes to mental health, the one thing I always try my best to tell people around me is don't look at the world to fulfill you like that. When it comes to maybe I'm insecure about my body and then I go on Instagram and I see a fat ass and I start feeling insecure. I know for a fact, like when I was logging that, how do I even like tap into that? I'm already lacking in something for that to be triggering to me.
Yeah.
So I should sit down and assess myself. I'm responsible for my mental health. So I need to continuously keep that in check. If it's work related and the like, I need to actively strive to keep that in check, whether it's taking a couple of days off or striving to put myself in environments that actually do care about mental health, because there's some companies that do.
True, they don't. Yeah.
It's important, but the older I get, the more I realize it's so important to be self-aware and have an anchor. Just have something that anchors you towards the world and your values and everything, so you understand how you even got to a specific space, like a job that makes you unhappy. Is it a means to an end? Is it like a stepping stone? Gosh, but
for
these are
sure.
such heavy questions. I don't even know
This
how to
one is
unpack
mad.
them in like 2 seconds. My
Yeah.
days.
Yako. I think
To be
mine are
honest, the
done.
first months of therapy are the worst. And oh, ooh, okay. So this person is saying going to therapy and dealing with your trauma,
Mm-hmm.
which is super heavy, or
Mm-hmm.
just, continuing with your bad and toxic coping mechanisms. That was a dilemma they were going through, which is interesting.
I don't know. I haven't been to therapy, so I can't speak to that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something I said on the previous episode, and I
Mm.
said there's a way being accountable, being an accountable person, being a self-aware person really
Mm-hmm.
takes a toll on you.
Mm.
And it looks like it's easier to live as a person who doesn't care about how they relate to people, or
Yeah.
who doesn't really care about
Not at
whether they
all. Delusional
offend,
people are the ones having fun.
exactly,
They're really the ones having
exactly.
fun.
So you'll be depressed there because you don't know how to tell this guy, oh my god, no, we can't work. Or you'll be depressed because you can't say no to people. But this other person will won't be in the same space as you, because they'll just ghost the person, or they just ignore the conversation and all those things. So it's the kind of breezing through lives. Whereas therapy now, based off of people who have been to therapy,
Mm-hmm.
is now you see sitting down and unpacking and all those things, and being exposed to some truths about yourself that you
Mm.
didn't know you were in denial or were ignorant of,
Oh, gosh.
and having to actually deal with them and find
Opening
solutions.
Pandora's box. You don't
Which
even know what you can pick out of
exactly,
that. And
exactly.
how am I supposed to have a session this evening and then pop up at work tomorrow like, hey guys, kumbaya? Has the therapist not just told me something so shattering to the extent where I
Exactly.
need a holiday for like 3 weeks?
To figure it out and to like correct it and stuff like that.
Like,
But because
mhm,
that process is wholesome and we're looking to uh, create youth or listeners that are self-aware, that are
mhm,
self-conscious, and just want to form formidable relationships with people,
mhm.
then I would advocate for them to take therapy. And I keep saying
Therapy,
I'm
yeah.
going to therapy, I'm going to therapy, and I don't know when I will, but for sure I know
I've had
one
a
day I'll
couple
just
of
decide and
sessions.
start. You
Yeah,
do.
I've had a couple of sessions. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the most consistent, but I've had a couple of sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can say is, okay, for me so far, you might think you're at a breaking point,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really just an uncomfortable bend.
Pivot.
Yeah, you might have not thought you were that flexible in that way when it comes
Yeah.
to handling that kind of, emotional weight.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a kind of weight that's lifted off my chest when I just have a
The
certain
session.
realization, even
Mm-hmm.
if I haven't figured out how I'm going to unpack that.
Mm-hmm.
Just the understanding of it in the first place is like, ah, okay, yeah. So it might be super heavy and it might feel like you're breaking, but it's
Mm-hmm.
really just an uncomfortable bend. You're flexing a muscle you've never needed to flex before. Yeah.
So
So try therapy today.
we advocate for therapy.
Oh, definitely.
Haya, so huyo tumemsaidia angalau. The last one.
Haha. From me.
Mine
Spoil myself
zimeisha.
for savings. That's when I got.
Spoilers. That's a dilemma I had today. Okay. Now
Really? Did you have, were you like trying to spoil yourself because something good happened? Because I'm such a big advocate for that.
I'm trying to spoil myself because Cycles has reached 1. I'm
Imagine.
also trying to spoil myself because I've made it through like a month of pupillage. So that's a
Mm.
good thing.
Gosh, today's shots are on me.
You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe a balance between both. Because again, next month you also want to spoil yourself. Where will them? If there's no steady supply of
Mm-hmm,
income,
mm-hmm,
then where will the money for next time come from?
mm-hmm.
So even if you don't even have to save 10K, you don't have to save 1,000. You know what you get what I'm saying.
Like a million
But you can
shillings.
just set aside a portion of the money you have,
Mm-hmm.
and then now go all out and spoiling yourself, or even not necessarily going all out, but
Mm-hmm.
get yourself something that means a lot to you. Ile yenye hata ukikaa ukiangalia, oh my god, I did this for myself, it's exciting, it's what
Yeah.
I feel like that keeps you going, and
Yeah.
especially if you do it for yourself monthly. I started going on solo dates.
Really?
I was
You
such
don't find those
a
lonely?
I did before. I was
Uh-huh.
like, hey, yeah, sitting down with your chicken, you look so
Yeah.
depressed and all those things. So the first time I did it, it was a bit weird, but now I was mostly on my phone. I was mostly on my phone,
Yeah.
pretending I'm busy, nini nini. But after I finished, and I was just like, kumbe, it's easy like this. You just
Mm.
have to show up and go. So, uyo, mame,
Mm.
I strike a balance.
Yeah.
Okay, portion
Okay, an
kidogo
alternative for me
kando.
is I don't go on solo dates because
Mm-hmm.
I'm such a sociable person.
Mm-hmm.
I'll end up like linking with someone there. I'm just like randomly. I'm just like, hi,
Mm-hmm.
is this seat taken?
That's nice.
Would you like to like? What's your favorite? Do you like? do you like bread?
Uh-huh.
I'll find myself talking to someone. But I love myself in all 5 love languages. That's one thing I actively, intentionally do. I love myself in all 5 love languages. When it comes to the spoiling and saving kind of situation, I realized, because I've been working for a while, even when I was like in university and the like building up. So there's a certain stage of my life where I was trying to figure out how to make money in the first place and bank on my skills. And the next stage now, it was like a next step. So it's not a totally different flight of stairs. It's just the next step is learning what to do with money. So I've squandered a lot of money. I've gotten to a point where I might be a bit more wise.
Unarusha missiles. Who should direct?
It is what it is. Yeah. But yeah, I've gotten to a point where I'm comfortable getting financial advice from people I really admire, and reading up on different ways to spend your finances is also super important. So I've come to a space where I can make money, I do make money, and now I'm thinking about not interesting but smart ways of spending that money. Whether it's investing, saving in a fixed account, and the like. Now that's where I've gotten to. But you need to, I think, for me, I feel like I really needed to get in the space where I've learned how to bank on myself and my skills first, before I even started worrying about saving money. Not to say you should start saving when you're 35 or when you're 50 or when you're streaming. Not that I'm putting a cap to anyone, but the earlier the better. But don't put too much stress on yourself when it comes to that. Like if you're making, if I'm making 250 today, itakuwa ngumu sana niweke, like honestly,
Walisema kama hiyo pesa haiwezi
50.
kukununulia kama hiyo pesa haiwezi kukununulia nini, kukujengea nyumba unaikula.
Kina nani wamesema hivyo?
Kama aya Twitter wanasemanga kama if that money cannot do what, I don't know what, but it's something huge.
You're on a very interesting side of Twitter, and I feel like to some extent, I feel like I need to take her phone and go through her Twitter and her TikTok just so I know where her headspace is. It's actually, I think you can really tell a lot about where someone's like headspace is at from checking out their Twitter, their Insta, their social media in general, and not like their DMs and the like. Nah, none of that invasive shit. Just their feed.
Yeah.
Because they're totally different people that are on food talk, clean talk, hypergamy talk, Andrew Tate talk, if that's
I have Andrew Tate, I have tea on people.
Wait, you listen to Andrew Tate?
No, I don't listen to him. He pops up on my TL. I don't know
interesting.
Why. I don't know why.
Gosh, I'll give you guys feedback next week. Maeve, what are you into?
Next week.
Oh, mine is...
But Andrew Kibe is interesting, honestly. I like to listen to him.
I haven't interacted with much of his content. I can't actively give you like...
I don't think he lies at her. We'll talk now. This week, this is your homework.
All right.
You go check out Andrew Kibe. Check out some of his episodes.
Am I checking out Andrew Tate as well? Are we going through the red pill of TikTok and Twitter?
No, don't listen to Andrew Tate. Just let's go bit by bit. Just look at Andrew Kibe first. And then we come back. We regroup and talk about Andrew Kibe.
Okay.
I hope I said ana kimongelelea alafu akunini. Akulocate akubomoe. Anyway, we'll still talk about him.
I said the internet.
I hope we've answered most of the dilemmas.
Hopefully,
some of them we are experiencing as well. So we are really just navigating them as they come. I've seen one, but we'll do it next episode. I promise to start from there next episode. So thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to leave some of your dilemmas. We might still address them in the coming episodes. So be sure to like this episode, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell everybody. And I'm so happy for all of you that have been watching this episode for 1 year now. Oh my God.
Happy birthday, Cycles Podcast. You really did that.
It's goodbye from us.
Adios. Ciao for now.